Hello, Internet. Welcome to another episode of the vblog, courtesy of your favorite YouTube channel host and owner, Adventure Link. I got the Bill Ford Tough hat on tonight, and for the first time, I got one of my Gateway shirts on tonight. So I guess you could say that this is going to be an advice blog about automotive. Well, you would be right. I'm going to give some advice tonight on starting out as a automotive technician. I've got a lot of information, a lot to say, like I always do, so let's get on our listening ears and get focused as we get started on another episode of the vblog. Well, first off, what can I say about being a technician already? Well, as you all know, I'm going to be employed at the Pep Boys pretty soon. I start in a couple days. I'm going to be a general service technician, which covers oil, filters, fluids, batteries, tires, belts, things of that nature, as well as inspections, which I guess is fine for someone that's starting out. But I guess that's enough on that for now. I'll start on getting some advice. Well, I'm going to start off with education. First off, well, just like with everything else, you should start when you're young, and in this regard, high school. Why high school? Well, because that's the youngest you could go technically. And not to mention, too, as you all know in high school, well, anyone that's graduated high school in at least the last 10 years, maybe 15, is that you would always get slammed with colleges, tuitions, scholarships, grants, ASVABs, things of that nature. Well, you should really take all that into consideration and really give those scholarships and all that some consideration, too, because you're going to need them to pay for your tuition in school. Also, back when I was in high school, they had a vocational school program, which, either the school is physically annexed onto your school, or it's part of a deal that they have through another vocational school. If you have one and it involves automotive repair and you want to be a technician, I'd say definitely go for it whenever you can. Okay, you can learn a lot of good stuff, and you can also use that education credit, not only at some colleges of your choosing, but it could also count towards your ASE certification, which in this regard, regarding ASE, usually requires either 2 years of work experience, a year of schooling or qualified schooling, and a year of automotive experience. Now, usually you have 3 years of school, which is what I'm in for, but it all counts towards 1 year on your ASE. But just as a possibility, having that extra thing of vocational school in high school, as well as whatever you go for college, could count as both your ASE years, and you could automatically go in and take your ASEs, which they always push education and all that, but it sometimes gets more difficult as you're older, because unfortunately some of the things you may find as you're older requires, some experience, which we probably would have been better off starting off when you was younger in the first place. Also, when you're in college, I would strongly urge you to be employed in some way. Now, it doesn't have to be automotive. I mean, if you can find something automotive, good for you, way to go. Like Valvoline, Pep Boys, Quick Stop, a mom and pop shop, something that'll take you on as, say, a beginner level tech, where you can just do oil filter fluids, etc., which would eventually count towards your co-op, and then you can just move on up from there. But even if you don't find something automotive, at least you have something that pays your bills, takes care of your car, and you can start slowly saving for your tools, as well as, little projects that you want to do to your car in class. Now, even if you do have something automotive or not, if you want to go up to something higher or for your first automotive job, as long as you kick butt at your current job and you're there every day and you're hardly ever late or miss work, at least then you can say, hey, this is John Smith, and you have someone that says, hey, this is John Smith, he works at such and such company for me. He's been here X amount of years. He kicks butt at what he does. He's a good worker, hard worker, tries his best, never gives up. And he can put in a lot of good things for you when you apply for your automotive job later on. Now, if you don't find anything automotive initially, fine. But I would strongly suggest getting something automotive, say when you're halfway through your classes or 3/4 of the way through your classes, which is going to bring me to my next point, class structure. Ideally, personally, I would take electrical as soon as you can, and take brakes and steering and suspension, say halfway or 3/4 of the way down the road. This is because when you're in automotive class, unless you know, say, engine repair, steering, suspension, manual trans, you're going to get slammed with a lot of electrical. And like I just said regarding entry jobs in automotive, when you first start out, you're going to be working with tires and brakes anyway. So if you find a job, say like 3/4 of the way down the road, and you take steering, suspension, and brakes, then all that stuff will be fresh in your mind. Instead of, say, taking it within your first year and a half, and then you forget most of the stuff later on. So I would suggest electrical first, and then steering, suspension, and brakes, say 3/4 of the way down the road or even halfway. And of course, the rest of your classes would be on a it's whatever-ish kind of basis. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover is tools. Unfortunately, unless you're like in a dealer and they have specialty tools for their vehicles, you will have to furnish a very good majority of your tools. Most technicians over the course of their career will put in at least, give or take, about $100,000 worth of tools. And in this regard, if you get a scanner from Snap-on, like Ethos or something like that, it's a very high-level scanner. That costs $9,000, and that's going to be at least 1/10 of your overall tools purchases in your career. Of course, if you go into hybrid, that's going to be a different beast altogether, and you're going to need a different set of tools for that. So make sure you do have tools, and they're kept in good condition, because you will need them. Now some schools, will condense all your automotive books into one big package, so you can save your financial aid for tools later on. This is what, like I said before regarding employment, that way you can try to hold back your aid or whatever big savings you can. This way you can splurge on your tools later on, because you will need your tools down the road. Now, when I'm going to start out, I bought a 540-piece Craftsman Mechanics tool set, a basic air tool mechanics set for air tools, and a tool cart which costs quite a bit. I just wanted to mention too about tools. Even when you're in college, most of the time they'll have deals like, say, through Snap-on, Matco, etc. Do make sure that you do take advantage of those deals while you're in college, because once you're out of college, you're pretty much then bumming off the Snap-on or Matco truck, and all the good deals may or may not be there in the future. The good deals will save you all your initial purchases with your tools, and can save you a lot of money. So do take advantage of any good tool deals that you do get while you're in college. And of course, I got safety goggles in the back of one of my cars, so I'll have that, which brings me to the safety stuff. Now, as a bare minimum, I would personally suggest that you do have safety goggles and a face shield. And like I said in my fuel filter R&R for the Grand Marquis and Crown Vics and Panthers, is that if you have sensitive skin like I do, you would ideally want a good set of gloves. That way you can save your hands from, getting ate up by the chemicals. And even if you don't have sensitive skin, it would be ideal if you had your gloves anyway, because over time the oils, fluids, all that will get into your skin and will eventually eat away at it, which wouldn't be a fun process to go through. And I guess with that being said, we'll try to post updates when I can about Pep Boys and how it's going, so that way you all get an idea of what it's like being a tech. Because, I'm a first-time tech too, so at least you'll get to go through most of the experiences I do. Now, just as a fair warning, even if you do get out of college and you don't have ASCs or whatever, if you can get something like I did, like oil filter, fluids, batteries, stuff like that, that's fine. A good majority of techs started out this way. My instructors did. Most of my classmates have. I have. You will too. So get used to it. Don't feel bad, but you will eventually, go up to higher stuff like, doing more steering, suspension work, manual transmissions, automatic transmissions, drivetrains, air conditioning, and all that too. And if you do take your ASEs, that would be a plus too if you can pass. That way that you can have something that says, I'm ASE certified. I can do all this and all that, and I can make the bigger bucks now that I'm ASE. And I guess that's all I got to say on the subject for the time being. As always, if you want to discuss this entry or give comments, have comments, questions, concerns, praise, etc., hit me up in the comments section. And as for the other social media stuff, subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down, that's all at the bottom of each and every YouTube video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me. Even if you don't subscribe, you can still go through all my old videos as you please and comment, etc. Been Adventure Link. Gonna close out this video as always by quoting Eric the Car Guy and saying, "Be safe, have fun, and stay dirty." Make sure you stay warm too. It was been pretty chilly the last few days, going down to single digits and negative single digits for wind chills, even in the teens. And scan your spoo. See yas.